Hey everybody, welcome to the show today. So with us today is Kyle Hayungs. Now, Kyle's expertise is in capturing opportunities by closing executive deals, creating and implementing marketing strategies, and building multi-billion-dollar businesses has led to be recognized as entrepreneurs below 25 to watch. He's been nationally recognized for his sales engineering by successfully raising over $25 million in funding for new companies, as well as coming back from a troubled past to bootstrapping 3 companies in the past 5 years and have done over $10 million in sales. Kyle's company, Aspire Payments, is an ATM high-tech kiosk and credit card processing franchise that utilizes 22 different revenue options, including blockchain technology. He also runs Merchants Resource Group, which assists small and mid-sized businesses in the area of credit card processing, web development, custom software, marketing, sales development and automation, print, operation services, copyright and trademark, IT development, and more. Past clients include Coca-Cola, Toyota, Singapore Airlines, and Chevrolet. Kyle holds a bachelor's of science degree in business administration and vascular, general, and obstetrical sonography with a minor in marketing. His philanthropy work focuses on veterans affairs, single mothers, first responders, and mentoring terminally ill and at-risk youth through organizations such as Beauty for Freedom, Ferrari Kid, Southwest Keys Program, Icon Talks, and Living Beyond a Dream. So we got a bunch of stuff to dive into today, especially what Kyle's working on right now. So how's it going, man? How are you doing today?
Doing great, doing great. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, well, you've got there's a lot of stuff to talk about. You know, it was hard to kind of plan out what we were going to talk about today because you do so many things. You're involved in so much going on, and there's so many things we want to talk about. But I guess let's start with currently. You know, give us an idea of the kind of the cool things that you're up to now, what you're working on.
Yeah, so about 6 months ago, I got into, well, I spun off my own franchise after doing franchise development through Merchants Resource Group. We help successful retail or hospitality concepts and build into a franchise model. So I took that team that runs that division of the company and the experience that I got from doing that and created our own franchise around the payment processing division of Merchants Resource Group. And so we did that because we came out with a new technology. It's mainly for the unbanked or underbanked, where we built a kiosk around a payment processing software. It can do multiple different services. There's about 22 different revenue streams on this one kiosk. The main ones are check cashing, wire transfer. You can pay bills. You can add minutes to cell phone providers around the world. There's a 27-inch monitor to where you can do digital advertising and mobile marketing. We're doing a bidding war with different ticketing companies like StubHub and Ticketmaster to offer tickets to any auditorium or arena in the country. So we came up with the software. We've been in the check cashing space for 15, 20 years. We sold all of the brick and mortar ones and put together a team to develop the software over the past year and a half. We now launched our 20th kiosk out in the field, so we're pretty much done with our pilot, and we're trying to get this out to the masses. And so one way to do that is by franchising. So I'm setting people up with a platform that's around payment processing. It could cover ATMs, credit card processing, or these kiosks. We're set up directly with the manufacturers of all the machines. We're actually manufacturing these kiosks ourselves. The credit card processing, we're set up directly with Visa MasterCard. Our cost is 2.5 cents, 0% per transaction. So we pretty much set the rate. And so I'm just now, over the past 5 years, I've been building Merchants Resource Group. It started out as an ATM and credit card processing company or payment processing division, and we kind of blossomed or evolved into the retail and hospitality business services company that we are now. And I think there's a lot of people in the U.S. that are unbanked or underbanked. When we were doing the research on the statistics, I couldn't believe it that the FDIC says that there's over 100 million unbanked or underbanked people in the U.S. That's comes out to about 28.3 of households, which is just unbelievable. And so this is, providing a platform and a solution for these people to be able to cash their checks and be bankable, at a reasonable, rate. We're not gouging them like a lot of these brick and mortar check cashing places are, to be able to keep the lights on and the doors open, because their real estate isn't cheap where they're leasing these spaces or even owning the spaces. So we're going to really, I think in the next 3 to 5 years, brick and mortar check cashing locations will be obsolete, and we'll hopefully take over the market. And so, franchises is one thing that we're doing. We also have a distributor network that we're building. And then we have a corporate and regional and national corporate play. We're looking at doing licensing for, the Walmarts of the world, or of the country. But we haven't decided if we're going to do that yet, but we do have that available. So that's Aspire Payments. I don't know. I mean, the Merchants Resource Group thing was just something that kind of evolved into what it is now. When I would work with a lot of businesses, I mean, the odds are against small businesses. 1 in 10 makes it, I think, are the odds. I built the company to just be able to provide input, insight, advice, help business owners make the right decisions on kind of those core areas of the business, which is marketing, payment processing, and your hardware, software solutions. And so with that, with point of sale systems, I mean, we have every major point of sale software. We have a national dealer license with Micros, Aloha, Digital Dining, R Power, I mean, all the tablet-based ones. And so it's really just, helping the retail or hospitality business owner make the right decision on that. It's really the backbone of their business. And so that's kind of where it all starts. That's one of the first things that the business owners look for when they're starting a business is, okay, especially retail and hospitality, what's my logo? What's going to be my brand? What's my name? But what point of sale am I going to use? It's a very important decision, and keeping track of things like inventory and time stock management and taxes and sales. And it's just a very key component of the business. And so that's our hardware software division. We do cameras and digital menu marketing boards, with the main core areas or services is point of sale systems. And then marketing, we've really built out a very solid marketing division. We have, people that headed up Coca-Cola and KFC franchising and the TGI Fridays, Free Good Fridays program. He's our chief marketing officer, Stephen Kieran. He's based in Dallas, but he heads up the marketing teams. We have different, people that specialize in different areas of marketing. Marketing has become a very broad term, I guess. And there's so many, types: digital, traditional, print, social media, SEO, pay-per-click ads, So we have different people that specialize in different things. We have all size types of clients, from professional sports teams to your big brands to your independent mom and pop business. So we have different packages and teams and programs for different budgets that that people have, and we do a lot of loyalty and rewards, and we have a text marketing platform that really helps business owners capture their customer data and their customer information and be able to retarget them with any kind of campaign, from a seasonal one, summer, spring, winter, fall, holidays, birthdays, points programs and loyalty and rewards programs based on dollars spent or types of visits. And we have a technology where it kind of ties to the point of sale. You can take a picture of the receipt, and it pulls the data either from a QR code that's custom printed, or we can program the point of sale to print out a unique code on every receipt. And so that it'll we basically build a little mini app for the business. It's a web-based app, and the customers have to sign up on it, put in their basic information, and then they're enrolled into the program, and they can now take a picture of their receipts, and based on the dollar spent, they get points. And so we really just help businesses build a good foundation to grow off of. And we like working with their existing teams and their existing personnel to really help build out a strategic plan and roadmap to successful campaigns. And so, that's That's Merchants Resource Group and Aspire Payments for you in a nutshell.
So it sounds like you've been busy. I mean, you've got what, 5 total companies you manage?
We do have a healthcare division that I have usually when I'm building up companies and doing what I do, I'll start the company and run it for 6 months to a year, get it, funded, either self-funded myself or just bootstrap and get it cash flowing. A lot of the things we do are built around residual and kind of passive income, whether it's a retainer or whether it's, payment processing or whatever it is. And so it's compounds as you get more clients, it just stacks. And so that's how I've been able to fund a lot of the things, is just reinvesting what I make and what the companies make back into the entities wherever it needs. And so then once I get them up to a point and I, either we own some, proprietary technology, or we have, the revenue coming in, we have a great customer base, I'm able to really attract key executive personnel that can then really, head up the operations and head up, the marketing and the different things that are more labor intensive, that aren't income producing for the company, but they're a key component of being able to manage and run a company successfully. And so it definitely is not a one-man show, or like you can get to a certain point trying to do everything yourself, but at some point you have to figure out, how did you get to where you're at? Is it you're a freaking sales ninja and you just are able to, go whoever you pick up the phone and call, or whoever you go and pull a door and you get in front of that person, you're able to make something happen? Or are you more a visionary that you rely on other people to do that and you are kind of behind the scenes guy? Or where's your strong point? And then, once you have a team, you need to focus on that and have the other people focus on the things that they're good at and that you bring them on for it. And so I think that's one of the ways that I've really been able to get to where I've gotten, and to be able to attract the caliber of people that I have on our, either executive advisory board or executive team.
So, that's one of the great point. Kyle, how do you do that? I mean, how do you go about finding the right people for each one of these entities?
Well, one way is just having a network, whether, it's in different industries or just looking for certain skill sets, going to the right events, surrounding yourself with people that are, I don't want to say better than you, but are a different caliber of you, different in a different league. If you're doing that, then, you're always, working towards getting up to that point where they're at. And obviously those people didn't get to where they're at overnight. So they have, a track record. They've made mistakes. People don't get to certain points overnight success. I mean, there's a lot of times, and you can come up with some crazy technology or something, but most successful people, whether it's the Warren Buffetts or Elon Musk or, the Apple people or whoever, I mean, they started at the bottom and they made it because they worked really hard and put in a lot of time and kind of did what I'm doing. They built a team and they figured out who's best at what and worked together. And so I think that's one of the ways that really has allowed me to be able to focus, on and hyper focus on one thing till I get it to a certain point, to be able to attract those types of people or personnel, and then figure out a win-win, strategic joint venture play that economically makes sense for both parties and incentivizes them to come on board.
So you're finding the right people and then empowering them to basically run the business, the best people that you have. And then from that point on, you can kind of check in, be the visionary and collaborate, but you don't have to effectively then run each one of the businesses, right?
No, I really head up more of the business development and sales side of it. That's what I'm good at, is, finding whatever it is and whatever core service it is that we're offering. I've done everything in each company that I've started. So I mainly focus on sales and business development and going and getting the key accounts that are going to drive revenue for the company. And that's why I free up my time so that people can, whether it's legal, whether it's contracts, whether it's, it's stuff that takes time, accounting, business plans, marketing strategies, like managing projects, things like that. Like you can't do everything. And so once you get to a point, you need to, be able to focus on what you're good at. And that's where I've gotten to where I've gotten, is because of those skill sets and being able to tie sales and marketing together and utilize technologies around those two areas to maximize everything that we're doing, whether it's making sure that you're, utilizing the right keywords and meta tags for SEO, whether it's looking at your competitors and what they're spending on pay-per-click ads and figuring out how to reverse engineer what they're doing and doing it better. There's so many things that, and all of that takes time. And so once you get to a point, you need to find people that specialize in those areas and let them do what they're good at, and you do what you're good at.
Yeah. And it sounds like that really is the fundamentals of starting and growing a business, right? Is find out what your strengths are, go all in on your strengths, and then bring the other people in to kind of make up for where you're not strong. And then eventually you're kind of able to step out and have people then even take over those areas where you can focus on where you're really strong. What about, when you first started, or what have you found are the difficulties in starting and growing a business when you don't have a lot of money to put in the business to grow, where you need it to start cash flowing right away?
Sticking to a plan that has milestones that are tied to some kind of financial model that will get the company to a certain point financially. I mean, obviously you got to pay bills and you got to keep the lights on, and so that's one thing. It's hard to, especially when you're kind of in this field that I'm in. Like, you see so many different new businesses, and you're helping new startups and you're helping funded companies, and it's very easy to get the shiny object during the headlights syndrome, and go after every single thing that comes in front of you. And you got to be selective on the battles that you choose and where you spend your time. And so, being selective and being able to say no to certain specific opportunities, and turn away business sometimes. Sometimes it's timing's not right, or you try to kind of force things into a certain budget, and it ends up, not good. And so being able to be selective and, make sure that you're not signing up for things that are going to put you in a bad spot.
And I know you mentioned that you'd raised $25 million plus, probably plus for your businesses. Is that something a typical small business owner can do, or do you suggest that they do that to kind of get started? Are there certain types of businesses than others that should be out there trying to raise funds to grow?
I mean, I did it for other companies. I haven't raised any funding for any of my companies. I've invested in some other opportunities or other companies. I've won some, I've lost some, so I've learned a lot on that. But most of the time, on the whole 25 million mark, I mean, that's been money that I've raised for other businesses. So I have just a very unique network, from doctors to people in oil and gas, to royal families, to international high net worth people. And I have a big database of angel investors and VC firms that specialize in either fintech, healthcare, real estate, just startups in general. And so it's very easy for me to utilize my marketing department to basically make an idea look like a $1 million or multi-million-dollar opportunity within a couple of weeks. We're really good at pulling in key people. I mean, to go raise money, you have to have a team. An investor's not going to give money to a one-man show. If you get hit by a bus, what's going to happen to the investor's money? So they want to invest in a team, and obviously there needs to be somebody behind that team that has a vision, but that can really, also execute on that vision and have a real strategy and a real plan. And so I think that's one thing that has been able to really help me leverage that is being able to help businesses that are in a position that they're trying to raise money. They have some type of track record. They have, either something that's proprietary or they have a financial, track record that we can either leverage that on a multiple or an EBITDA and build them out to attract investors and put them in a position to attract investors. And so I've been able to do that a handful of times or a couple handfuls of times as, I put the companies on a small retainer and I get paid when the money hits the bank. And so we do kind of a hybrid model, and there's different ways to structure it so that it's legal within securities laws. And that's kind of how I did that.
So when you're building these businesses, Kyle, I mean, how important are developing and building the systems to being able to make these companies work effectively?
That's really step one is, having a vision, building a plan, and then creating the systems and processes and just different areas, there's structure, operations, marketing, strategy is kind of how I break it down, and operations is systems and processes. And we're a Google partner. So I basically resell Google Apps as a tool, and I think it's a great tool. It puts everything in one spot. It's very good for collaboration. So I use technology, project management softwares, Google Apps, CRMs, sales and marketing automation software, different digital marketing tools. So the whole landscape and dynamics of marketing and business in general have changed in the past few years. If you're not utilizing the tools that are out there, like get on Udemy and go find out where they're at and which ones there are. And if not, you're going to be a Blockbuster or Toys R Us of the days, whatever industry.
You've overcome a ton of adversity to get to where you are. And I think there's a lot of people that are listening, watching that, they've the same way. They stuck, they've had problems. How did you kind of get from where you were, from having the trouble past we talked about in your bio, to a point where you kind of got your mind right to do these amazing things that you're doing now?
I enjoy what I do. I enjoy building things. I enjoy, just business in general, I think. And just really having, I have a goal that I'm trying to reach when I'm 40. And in order to reach that goal, I'm going to have to put the time and work in now. So I do put in a lot of time. I'm always working, but, I can work anywhere that I have a phone and a computer, whether it's a beach, a boat, in the mountains, Vegas, it's anywhere I'm at. I can do whatever it is that I'm doing. I do, travel quite a bit for work right now because we're opening up different markets and setting up different franchises in different states. But for the most part, it's just, being able to really build a plan around specific projects or companies that we're taking to market, and then building the right team to manage certain areas of the business so that, I can focus on what I need to focus on in order to get things to the next stage.
Yeah, and you're big on philanthropy too, right?
Yeah, I help a variety of different nonprofits. Some help the underserved, the underprivileged youth. Some help terminally ill kids, veterans, single parents, teachers. Mainly, I first started out, I got my own 501c3. It's called the MRG Foundation. It stands for Mentorship, Resources, Giving Back. And that's just kind of my way, a thing that I could do to kind of help where I can. And so started out just helping nonprofits with marketing. We'd donate websites or print or just different things that they need. We actually built a donations platform that allows them to build little mini websites and fundraising platforms for different events and things that they're doing. And that just kind of evolved into working with veterans and doing, other things. That's kind of my goal, is when I'm 40 to be able to work full time on that, because a lot of the things that we do kind of overlap or feed into that. And so that's the MRG Foundation. And one thing that I'm doing is with the Aspire Payments franchise, for any, listeners that are a veteran, a first responder, or a teacher, we're giving a $10,000 discount on our franchise fee. So that's just something that I'm, a way that I figured that I can give back, provide jobs in other markets, put some exclusive kind of proprietary technology in people's hands and help them go build a business in their area.
Getting back to Aspire, so this is a really cool concept. So, and we have this in Florida, for example, where some of our credit unions no longer have tellers. When you go in, you're basically dealing with, with remote people and through computers. And I think that's where it's going in banking. I think that they're going to stop these big footprints, and I think it'll be really ATMs that do all the types of things that you could do in the bank. But what you're doing is like that on steroids. I've never heard of this. I mean, so you're ultimately talking about, kiosks that kind of like people can relate to like the Redbox kiosk, but you said much smaller. And then in one system, somebody can do a lot of different financial things, right? Is that how this works, where they could come and they could pay their bills and they could cash their checks, all the stuff that they have to walk into a check cashing place now, which has a huge footprint, right? Huge cost to build, huge cost to maintain. You're just putting it into a kiosk that can basically fit anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're doing that. And then we're actually building a mobile app around everything as well. The banks are making it harder and harder for people to open accounts. Like the major, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they're turning away, around 10 people a week from opening up a checking account. And so where do these people go, So that's a play that we're looking at, 2-3 years from now is, doing a bank branding program to where we actually partner with the banks, and we can white label the software and, license it to them. And anytime they say, oh, no, we're sorry, we can't open a checking account for you, go ahead and go to the kiosk and you can get a prepaid Visa card, through right there in the bank lobby. So they can keep the customer, in their network, obviously capture the revenues that the kiosk is making. And so we can work hand in hand with the banks. I think there's an opportunity there. Obviously, we'll probably start with the smaller community banks, and there are some banks that specialize in the unbanked and underbanked. So yeah, that's definitely something we'll be working towards.
Yeah, and I like the check cashing. I think you mentioned that you could cash a check and get the money, or you could just get the prepaid Visa card, right?
Yep.
It's cool. And so how does a franchise model work with that? And what made you think about franchising? Because it doesn't sound like in your experience with these companies, were you just like, that's the one thing I haven't done yet, and then you went into that, or how'd that work?
No, I mean, I have, two, I guess, kind of main companies. It's MRG, which we spun off Aspire Payments, and then there's a healthcare kind of version of it, which is Medical Resource Group, and we do a lot of the same things. We just specialize in healthcare, and we have a partnership with the world's #1 telemedicine software. But the key behind, I think, where you're going with that is, the franchising was something that I thought, residual income has been really good to me. I've built something up in 2 or 3 years that it's just, you literally make money while you sleep. and I got, I didn't start off where my deals with the banks and with, the manufacturers of ATM machines and financing solutions that I've been able to leverage, and armored car, contracts that I got now. It took a while to navigate through all this and get it towards a packaged, program that it's just like, here you go. And it's very entry, low, it's not like building a restaurant or doing like a franchise, retail, space or something where you're having to put hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions just into construction. And then you're having to do a, 20-year lease on the land that you don't even own the damn property. And you're literally signing your whole life away, where it's like 25 grand, like out of that 25 grand, you get 3 different mobile apps and platforms kind of in one, a back office that has payroll everything integrated into it. You can see all your machines and all your accounts and how much money each one is making. Like if your ATMs are low, it notifies you via text or email saying, hey, go fill up this machine. Like you don't have the cash, we have cash and armored car companies that'll go fill the machine for you and manage everything. There's hands-off approach and hands-on approach for people. You know, a lot of people, they just got their 401k or, you know, they have got an insurance policy or whatever, and they have a lump sum of cash that they're trying to buy a business that's, you know, generating existing revenue. So we have mergers and acquisitions plays where we can go buy existing portfolios, whether they're merchant portfolios, ATM portfolios, and we have a process where we get that portfolio from making, you know, what it was, you know, say the machine's making $500 a month on an ATM machine. We can get that with our kiosk and with our other digital advertising strategies, get it making 3 to 5 times it was when we got in there. And then over 2 years, we process and we can either raise against an EBITDA and go do that 3 times in that area, or we can sell the portfolio and get, you know, 8 to 10 times what we bought it for on the multiple. And so that's kind of our play for people that have over a certain liquid net capital. You know, they have money to buy an existing business, and we help do the whole due diligence and you know, underwriting process of it for them. And then there's, you know, the people that they don't have that kind of money, but they have the work ethic. They're willing to put in some time, and they want to build something that they can either sell or literally retire on. And so, you know, that's where the franchise model comes in, where it's more of a hands-on, and we build them a custom website. We do all of the marketing strategies that we already have all proven out. Like we know what keywords people are searching for around these services. We know how to do inbound marketing to get leads in their CRM that we set up, that has sales and marketing automation software. It has all the different tools to help qualify the leads and get the process moving along to, you know, to where it needs to be to hopefully sign the business and get a contract in place. And all of those strategies that we've proven out, now it's like, you know, people pay us the $25,000, we reinvest 5,000 of that back into marketing. It covers 6 months of marketing, covers their website. I mean, you go pay that to an agency, you're going to be dropping, you know, 10 grand on 6 months. You know, by the time you pay the marketing, the ad spend, the website, the branding, we have everything already done, from marketing collaterals to, I mean, pocket folder. You get a whole corporate identity package basically with that as well, which is Aspire Payments. And then you have a brand, and you have a company that has a track record that you can go after national accounts, and you can, you know, go after these big regional chains that are in your state or whatever. And you're able to use our name and our executive team to come in with you, behind you, to get these deals done. And so that's really what the Aspire Payments model is. It's a franchising company, and it's literally a mergers and acquisitions company.
You know, which is pretty brilliant. You know, my daughter had me go to this icy place the other day called Bahama Bucks. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I hadn't. They just opened one up. The place is awesome. So I'm like, man, what's the franchise fees on this? So I look at it. It's like $400,000 because, like you said, right?
There you go.
You got to build out this stuff and do all this stuff. And I don't think like half of what you just described marketing-wise they even have access to. So it's pretty groundbreaking to get somebody into a franchise with everything they need to run a franchise for only $25,000. I haven't heard of that today because all of them are, like you said, 300, 400, 500, $1 million to get into. So what do they do then? They're your franchisees basically then get the kiosks and get the contracts to get them into the locations.
Pretty much. I mean, there's 2 types of people that I've known. We've gone to 3 international franchise trade shows in the past couple months, and I've learned, you know, there's 2 types of people. There's people that have money and people that don't have money, you know, is bottom line. And so we have a solution for both. Like we'll even finance the franchise fee. You have a 640 credit score, we'll finance the $25,000 at a competitive interest rate. You don't like the equipment, we already finance it. We don't want you to have to come out money every time you find a location. We want to be able to underwrite that cost, spread it out so that you can invest your cash put it in the machines, so that you're not having to pay an armored car to do it. If you want to have completely hands-off approach, you don't even want to call these leads that we're giving you, you don't want to run appointments, we have the solution and the resources to do that. And it's our telemarketing department that they're trained telemarketers on payment processing, on qualifying these leads, on our value proposition, and they get you in the door. And then you're just literally running set appointments or conference calls that are preset with somebody who's been qualified that needs your assistance or needs more information on what your new business is. So we've, taken a lot of the stuff that we've built out and done within Merchants Resource Group, and we're folding those resources into Aspire Payments. And the marketing teams and the executive personnel and everybody that's behind Merchants Resource Group is behind Aspire Payments. And they actually, our marketing teams actually do all of the marketing for the franchisees. So it really goes hand in hand. We're really able to maximize that money that we reinvest back into the franchise. And then after the 6 months, the franchisee has the option to either enroll into another marketing campaign, or they can organically grow their portfolio, because after those first 6 months, they'll have a really good foundation online. And when people in their area are searching for the different services, there'll be so many blogs and organic things that we did for content and for SEO organically, and there'll be already all the paid stuff. So they're going to be ranked on, the first page in their market for what we're doing.
Kyle, as we get ready to wrap up, you've done a lot of things, man. I mean, you're pretty accomplished and you're a young guy. What are some of the most important lessons you've learned in going through this process of building these multiple businesses?
You have to go in with a plan. If you don't have a plan and it's a short-term plan, people write these long, 3-year business plans. It's like, if you're a startup and you're bootstrapping, there's no need to write a 3-year business plan. You can have a 3-year vision and a roadmap, but don't waste your time putting a detailed business plan in place. Do a, 30, 60, 90 day, 120 day, and then, a quarterly, plan with milestones that you work towards, that you need to get to those next steps in order to get the company to the next stage, whether it's building a team, whether it's getting revenue, whether it's proving out a certain concept or getting a minimal viable product or hitting a certain revenue marker or certain people to download an app or whatever it is. But you have to have a plan and you have to have milestones so that whoever you eventually pitch to or you partner with or you bring in as a JV or whatever it is you do, they see that you have a plan and they see that you're making progress. If not, you're not going to attract anybody unless you're a really, really good salesman. And that's all, I guess what I could say there. And defining that and having it managed in some kind of calendar or project management software. Also managing your days, like documenting what you do, mapping out your day either early in the morning or the night before so that you have things that you're knocking off the list in order to meet those milestones. And that's important because when you're an entrepreneur, it's easy to get distracted. People can call you. You can take every call, and you have to have your time blocked out, or you're going to be spinning your tires, and the day's going to be gone. You're like, shit, what did I even do? So yeah, I guess that's kind of my advice there.
So I really appreciate you coming on. Kyle, what should everybody listening do to learn more about you, more about your team, more about franchising, Aspire Payments? Where should they go?
Yeah, check out our website. It is it's kind of a placeholder right now. We're redoing everything. We launched the franchise division about 4 months ago and have been on the road opening up new markets and doing these international franchise trade shows. So yeah, there's a lot of good information on the website. It's aspirepayments.co. So it's Aspire, it's ASPIRE payments, PAYMENTS.co, CO. MRG or Merchants Resource Group, it's mrgbusiness.com. And if you'd like more information, just you can hit me up online at kyle@aspirepayments.co, and we can get you more information on the franchise or distributor model and answer any questions or concerns that anybody has around that.
Awesome, Kyle. Thanks for coming on with us today. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
All right, so everybody listening, remember, none of this does anything unless you take action. So the action to take right now is go to aspirepayments.co. That's aspirepayments.co, A-S-P-I-R-E, payments, P-A-M-E-N-T-S.co. I'm also going to make sure that that link is front and center on our show resources page. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you visit aspirepayments.co. Have a great day.